Join the Parts Counter Gurus and all parts fans, parts fans, John Van Dam Parts. Just join us.
Hey, everybody. Coming up on today's podcast, we're going to get into why Ford's CEO Jim Farley says to Fox News that these tariffs could offer Ford a chance to win some sales. That'll be an interesting conversation. We're also going to talk about a gentleman who tracked his stolen Lucid Air. We're going to tell you how he did that. We have an inventor who has created a bike. It's omnidirectional and has really, really big balls. Kawasaki, not the conventional Kawasaki that you're thinking of, but Kawasaki has invented a new mode of transportation. We'll get into that. Has a lot of potential. Boeing has won the contract for the brand new fighter jet. We'll get into that, and that will be the F-47 is what they're calling it as we know now. We also are understanding that because of the tariffs, Audi has had to stop a few things. VW is part of that as well, obviously. And then Ford, they stopped making sedans, which gave them more room to kind of just make up stuff on other Ford pickup trucks. All of that coming up right after this. Welcome into this podcast, episode 170, another milestone for the Parts Counter Gurus. Thank you for joining us today. Keith, how are you, my friend?
Sup?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome to spring, huh?
Yeah.
Spring has sprung along with all of the pollen that it produces. Thank you for the loss of my voice.
Bought some eye drops on my way here, actually.
Yeah, man, it's been killing me. I don't know about everybody else. I've been in the state of Georgia recently, where they could probably sell their pollen to some country somewhere and create trees as thick as that was. Awful. Took a little trip back west, which didn't help either. Had a 3-week-long episode of coughing and actually got laryngitis. That's not a good thing for a podcaster. But I'm coming through on the other side, and thank good for bourbon.
Yeah.
Bourbon's good.
Yeah.
I like this one, by the way. This is Four Roses. Good stuff.
All right, let's see if we can, man, I don't even know if this is going to show up on camera, but got these for, are these the ones I got you for Christmas?
No.
Okay, never mind. Tune in next time.
Tune in next time.
They do a trick and all.
Guys, I tell you what, we promise you this. We will next episode 171, we will reveal the bourbon glasses that Keith gave me for Christmas, and they're pretty awesome. Actually, it's pretty cool.
So if this is your first podcast of the 170 that we've done, I feel like we just need to keep bringing that up. Let me welcome you in, first of all. Welcome. And
thank you.
And yeah, thank you. So here's how we roll, if you will. It's called The Counter Show. Pop culture mixed in with automotive and mobility-centric topics, content. A lot of times it focuses on, the automotive industry because it's kind of what we have backgrounds in that.
What we do.
Yeah. Just get into whatever we feel like getting into that you would get into across the parts counter or the watering hole or, whatever. So try to put some helpful advice in there as well, in the spirit of not just complaining without offering solutions. Although I would say we really don't do a lot of complaining on here.
We don't, but we have some people that watch our videos that do.
Yeah. So, and by the way, so if you are picking this up somewhere, we are a lot of wares on your favorite podcast platforms. For example, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, I think still has a thing. You can find us on there. All the places, TuneIn, Stitcher.
Everywhere.
And over on YouTube, there's a video version of this. Also, it's youtube.com/parts counter gurus. And I do hear that gating happening, but
I do as well. But it'll be okay,
Yeah.
man. It's it's not like we're putting out a platinum album or anything.
Yeah. It just sounds kind of punched in.
It does,
and I
but it's
don't know
okay,
why.
man. That's because you're a sound engineer, Keith. That's why.
I
Nobody
didn't change
else
any of the
cares.
settings. Yeah, nobody. It'll
Nobody
just bother
cares.
me. Yeah. All right.
Where's
anyway.
our buddy Jade? Jade, if you're out there, listen to me, sir. I would like a critique of this audio engineering that Keith is behind here. I think it's okay. And again, let's face it, the audio systems in most vehicles
They're not that great.
Oh, my voice is going away again. Oh God! See, I keep telling you guys, man, laryngitis.
Guys, I keep getting these weird effects that happen to me.
It's some weird strand of something that I had. I picked it up from the Pacific Northwest, which, by the way, recently I just went back out west to take care of some personal business, and saw our good friend Rothmeyer. And Rothmeyer had high praises for us, as we always have high praises for him. He's doing some cool things.
What are you looking at, butthead?
Yeah. But enjoyed quite a few cocktails, bevies with him and our good friend Joe, and all of the good people that work at the Union Tavern there in the beautiful city of Anacortes. Wah. Get off my lawn.
But let me just quote the late, great Colonel Sanders, who said, "I'm too drunk to taste this chicken."
So yeah,
never too drunk to taste chicken, man.
But really, because I feel like we could test that theory.
Ooh, well, we keep going after this Four Roses here tonight. We might.
I've got so much that I brought with me that I've been carrying around for the past few weeks until we hit the record button.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so as we kind of roll into banter here before we get into It's just going to be, this is kind of a follow-up, not a part two, but it's, the tariff thing has been so prevalent in the news that we're not going back and revisiting the old topic. There's been some updates, and it's in the headline. I mean, it's
crazy.
It's on everybody's mind, so I feel like we need to kind of revisit it, right?
Well, we all knew that China was not going to play nice. I don't know what anybody was expecting there.
What a dumb thing to do. I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
Right, man. The bottom line is honestly, I think China's just had enough. I mean, the bottom line, we have a lot of product coming out of China. We talked about this the last podcast, and we also export to China a lot of things. And one of the number one products that we export to them, believe it or not, is soy.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
I was going to go iPhones, but okay.
No.
All right.
No. Soy is a big deal.
Technically, I guess it's not an export because those iPhones are made in China.
Correct. It's I don't think you can. It is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it gets tricky.
Well, that's a rabbit hole, right? So we'll get into that, because what happens if you make it there, but the company's here and then it goes back to there, right? Like,
correct. Yeah. And then because of these tariffs that are in place, used to be that maybe freight forwarders would pay that in advance for you, and then you pay the freight forwarder. But the tariffs are so high coming out of China right now that even the freight forwarders are they're not willing to pay. So what you're going to have is abandoned product at the docks, basically. And it's going to be interesting. There are going to be companies that are just not going to be able to sell product because they're not going to be able to get it. They don't have the capital to pump into that.
Right.
It's crazy. It's right now it's mind-boggling. Just one who is in the industry and deals with this on a day in, day out basis. I feel the pain. But it's unfortunate that there are smaller companies, small businesses out there that just do not have the capital to withstand this. And unfortunately, we're going to lose a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, we're going to see it's going to be a roller coaster ride for the next couple months.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so did you finish? I have not started Landman.
Oh yeah.
But have you finished the season?
I haven't finished the season, but you haven't started it.
Not yet. No.
Oh man.
Well, I've got a good reason here.
Okay.
It's not an excuse. It's a reason.
I
All
gotcha.
right. And I've on this program right now, I'm going to pitch an idea to you.
I'm with you, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So I've got a show now. Again, if this is your first times catching us, or second or third, or you're not as familiar with us as some of our regulars.
Taxman?
What?
It's not Landman. Is it going to be called Taxman?
No.
Okay.
I'm just we get into
we could ask the Beatles if we could use.
We tend to like a lot of the same things, and we'll find a show and we'll watch an episode and come on here and talk about it and all that, right?
Absolutely.
So my you've got to watch this. Okay. Here's the pitch. Okay. Have you seen the show Paradise?
I have not.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. I got it. Yep.
Shamefully,
I have every streaming platform.
So we didn't, and Sideshot is into F1, and he made me buy the like full on F1 channel subscription, which I think is like $10 or $12 a month or something.
And then it comes with Hulu.
Well, no. And so this is the deal though. And I got to say, like, I'm proud of him for this. So I said, look, we got Disney, we got Netflix, we got Max, we got Paramount Plus, we got, I'm forgetting one, Prime, we got whatever, right?
You got Netflix.
And he's like, I want to watch this one show and it's on Hulu. And I went, what are you going to give up for that? Because at this point, he's and I did the whole, like, back in my day, we had a cable service and they brought you just paid one flat fee and then we cut the cord and then everybody's price dropped by about 75%. Now we're back to where we were in the cable day, right? So he heard the whole, and I said, okay, you got to solve this. I'm fine with that, but what are we going to trade? Because and you don't have time to watch all these shows anyway, not while school's going on.
Yeah.
So he goes out and he starts like looking at the bundles. And so you can go to like Apple and they'll bundle like Prime. They'll bundle like 4 or 5 streaming services for you.
Yeah.
And because Disney owns Hulu,
right? He
found the Disney bundle that included like Hulu and Max and Disney.
And where is he finding the bundle?
I think we did it through Disney, like on their website.
Okay.
And it saved us. So it saved us $1 a month, but we got for everything the same quality, the same no commercials, all that. But we added Hulu.
So you basically got Hulu for $1.
Yeah,
a month.
No, we saved $1.
You saved $1. Oh shoot! So
right?
Geez, you went the other way. All right.
And so I had to go cancel the one and then sign it up again, but it worked out. Okay.
Right.
So this is no hyperbole. Paradise is the best TV show in terms of an episodic show, not a movie, that I have seen in several years.
And it is based on.
Oh man, this is gonna be tough.
Is there?
I almost want you to watch the trailer.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
But I feel like this would be interesting. So the pitch that I was going to go to is you go watch an episode and then we come back to the next podcast episode and we talk about it. Because I think I've got 2 left. So there's only 1 season right now.
Okay.
There will be another one.
Right. Yes.
It is so, like, I think the perspective of somebody that's already seen it and is 3 or 4 episodes ahead, and somebody that's coming in current and being able to talk about it is going to be, it's being able to talk about it. And being able to talk about it is going to be interesting because I know this is a wildly popular show.
Okay. I'm down with that. I have no problem with checking it out. I will do that. That's my homework.
Paradise.
So Paradise on Hulu. Okay.
You might, I would not be surprised if you watch the first episode and then go back and watch it again before the podcast.
And then call you and say, dude,
WTF. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll check it out. All right. Now, on that same kind of note, Ted Lasso's coming back for another season.
Yeah.
And so far, from what I understand, Ted himself is going to be involved. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes and who's.
Jason Sudeikis is back as Ted Lasso.
Yep.
the I guess we would now say the previous season was kind of written as the finale.
Correct.
And that
But there was a few hangers,
Yeah,
though, so
but-
it kind of left it open. I felt like it was left open.
You know, Sudeikis was a writer. He did SNL, and
Yeah.
he basically came out and said, like, it was the story we wanted to tell, and we're done, right?
Yeah.
And then Apple showed up with the money truck. Like, I think what happened is they showed up with the money truck. He said no, or the cast said no, or the producer said no. And then they showed up with a bigger money truck. And then maybe they said maybe, and then they showed up with a third money truck, and they went, all right, we'll do this.
Yeah.
Can they pull it off and keep it at the same quality, though?
I hope so. I'm highly anticipating.
I mean,
this.
I hope to God this isn't a very special episode of Ted Lasso where his, son hits puberty, and it's like they got to keep the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting. We'll see. So there you go. There's our pop culture that we get into on a episode by episode basis.
So there is a very good chance, everyone, that by episode 171, if you tune in for 171, we're going to do a little mini segment, I guess you would call it, about the TV show Paradise.
And do you want to know why we can do that?
You're going to tell us, right?
Yeah, because we can, Keith. Because this is what we do. We talk about things like this,
Yeah.
People that work in the automotive industry actually do put underwear on day to day and watch a few movies and stream some stuff every once in a while. Oh, and guess what else they do? They have...
He's reaching for the Four Roses.
Bourbon. Yes, sir. I do love the taste of that right there. Would you like some, sir?
I don't want you to have that. I don't want you to have to open it again.
Serve me up.
Like for me. I would feel bad if I put you out.
Serve me up, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, I better go for a little bit more. That looks a
So,
little uneven.
yeah, by the end of this one, Jason will be like, hi, everybody.
No, I will say this for me, as far as bourbons go.
Did you just spill it? Okay. I'd give everybody a play-by-play. He didn't want to put it up on the table because I talked him out of it because I went, well, Four Roses is not paying us, and it's
No, they're not. Maybe Four Roses should pay us.
So we just kept it under the table.
That would be a great sponsorship.
I mean,
man.
we're here in Tennessee, and there's all
It's
kinds
like,
of. They're not
right up the road. They're in Kentucky.
Yeah,
doesn't matter, man. They're right up there. We're neighbors.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Four Roses. Yeah,
hey,
go
neighbor.
ahead. You got this.
Hey, neighbor. Can you hook a brother up? That's what I want.
I mean, is that your best? Is that your best pitch, or you got?
I tell you what. If Four Roses will sponsor us on some episodes, man, I think maybe I would be willing to use colon broom or colon blow. But no, really, we would love to have you on board as a sponsor of the podcast. This podcast brought to you by those who drank Four Roses.
All right. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. That almost sounded like a episode of General Hospital or something, man.
I mean,
it really did.
Would you rather have?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean,
all right. So, we're usually way more focused than this.
What are you saying? We're not focused?
It's just.
I thought this is normal, man.
I think you get to 170.
All right, let's go ahead and move on and get to the news, guys. Thanks again. Before we get into it, thank you for listening. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, and just understand that when you do subscribe, you get to watch these episodes or listen to these episodes, and for you, it doesn't cost you anything, but by you listening and watching, it helps us out. Trust me, you have no idea. It directly impacts what we're able to do.
And you can further support us by going to the website at partscounterguru.com. I don't know why I'm looking at the wide angle camera. There's a camera right there. Camera one.
There's a camera two. Camera.
Go to our website, partscounterguru.com. Click on the, show specials?
Show specials.
And there's a bunch of sponsors there that basically help support the show. It doesn't cost, like Jay said, it doesn't really cost you anymore for the said product that you would buy. And many times you get a discount because we throw discount codes in there. But that gives us an affiliate credit and it helps financially support the show. So please consider doing that. Go to our website. And there is also an Amazon link there too, because you guys know you love your crap on Amazon, and I don't know what the tariffs are going to do with that, but we'll see. Okay, now news.
Live from the news desk. So get into it, man. Let's talk Ford Farley.
Ford. Do you think anybody's ever like called him that?
No, I did, but he's living in a van down by the river.
All right.
They are related, right?
Yeah,
they're like cousins or something.
Yeah,
Chris Farley.
I think they are. Yeah,
living in a van down by the river.
So
smoking doobies.
I'm going to bring up the screen share here, although it's kind of just a news article. This is from the Detroit Free Press, which you would expect because Ford's headquarters is there. But you got this. Go ahead. I'm going to switch over to a screen share.
Okay. All right. So the bottom line is what we understand is Ford CEO Jim Farley, who is, can be very outspoken at times. I think he certainly believes in Ford and their mission. But he basically told Fox News that tariffs offer them a chance to win some sales. He also said that if tariff levels the playing fields in the states against foreign rivals, that's a good thing. He also told Fox if imported parts are exempted from many tariffs, vehicles could remain affordable and jobs would continue to be added. Now,
all right, so much to unpack here.
Get into that.
So first of all, I feel like he went on Fox News to get Trump's attention.
I do believe that as well.
Right? Like he could have gone on multiple news platforms. He could have done a mini presser tour.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he did Fox on purpose.
Of course.
Not necessarily because it was his favorite or...
It's the home of the conservative. It is. It's conservative news.
Trump watches it.
Understand.
Right.
Understand. But most conservatives watch Fox.
This is like the Mandalorian candidate, or not, sorry, the Manchurian candidate. I mixed two. Yeah. Whoops.
Vandalay Enterprises.
He went to send a sort of encrypted message directly to the top, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
Also, did you see the commercial that Ford put out last week that Bryan Cranston, who from Breaking Bad, and many other things, but Breaking Bad's probably the one everybody knows him.
Yeah,
his biggest role,
Ford,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's been doing the Ford voiceovers for their commercials for a couple years now.
Yep.
They did a employee pricing Made in America commercial that they put together very there. It came out right after the first round of tariff announcements.
Yeah,
right.
It could be a trap, but anyway.
Yeah. Well played. So they're offering employee pricing. They're basically saying buy American. Now, if you listen to our previous podcast, which is episode 169, we broke this whole thing down for you, and basically not so fast. It's not that simple.
No.
Even the most American of American cars is not all 100% American.
We proved that in our last episode 169. We specifically broke down the window stickers, which by law they have to put on the window sticker.
What's that called?
Oh, I forget the name of it's something.
It's the Marconi law, right?
Yeah,
it's
Marconi.
No, Marconi's the radio guy, right?
Oh, is that right?
Maroni. Yeah.
It's Marconi.
I think it's Maroni.
It's Maroni law.
Okay. Yeah. Go back and listen to the podcast, everybody.
Maroni.
Anyway, in the United States, this is an important point because not every country has their window stickers the same. They are required to state where all of those parts. Remember that term assembly. This is an assembly plant, right? Doesn't mean it's made here. It's put together here.
Correct.
So... And we actually found a couple slip-ups where, whether it's intentional or not, a couple of the U.S. manufacturers didn't include where those parts were made.
Mainly trucks.
Yeah.
Wonder why?
So, okay. So this tariff thing comes into effect, and the problem with, and this isn't just a Ford problem. This is true for GM. This is true for... anybody that's assembling cars in the United States.
Absolutely, 100%.
Making cars, if you want to say it that way, okay?
Yes.
Parts are coming in from all over the world that go into those cars, all cars. If it is mass produced, I'm not talking about the 150 units made cars. I'm talking about your mass produced vehicles, right? That you can walk onto a dealer lot and buy.
Right.
All of those here in the United States have components that come from elsewhere.
Right.
There is not that I know of. There is no major manufacturer, and I'm talking Ford, GM, Stellantis,
Maroni, by the way.
Okay, thank you. That was just eating at you, wasn't it?
It was. You know me, man.
That doesn't have parts come. There's tens of thousands of parts in these automobiles. The ones that surprised us were like Jeep Compass, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, wow, it's a Jeep, and it's like mostly not made here.
Poland and Austria and whatever, man. I mean, but understandably why? Because
Stellantis.
their parent company is Stellantis. And I think that people need to understand that there has not been a true American-made Dodge Chrysler product in decades.
Decades. So in Ford's case, a lot of the stuff in the products that are more American than, higher percentage of American, a lot of it comes from Canada.
Yeah.
We went after Canada first.
And we just pissed them off.
Right.
Yeah.
So so now what Farley basically wants is he wants exemptions if it's made here.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you can ship the parts in, but
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Made or assembled?
Assembled.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
Here's where that's going to get tricky. Everybody else is going to start doing it too.
Well, BMW's already doing it. Subaru's doing it. Toyota's doing it. But I mean,
and
this is not anything new.
Step outside of that. Put a robotic assembly plant together that Apple can do or a technology manufacturer can do to put their phones together, and they can just assemble them here. Mm-hmm. The parts aren't coming from here. Mm-hmm. And Apple would be the first to, I'm not picking on Apple, but somebody like Apple would go, well, it's not fair. You can't let Ford have a pass on this, and then we're doing, because if the goal is American jobs, they're going to say, well, we're hiring people to put these things together.
They're not going to be able to. Have you tried to hire?
Have you seen the memes of the big fat white dudes on the sewing machines?
And have laughed my ass off at it.
So I guess number one, and this is pure speculation at this point, but do you think Farley's going to get what he asked for?
I'm going to say this.
There.
I'm going to say this.
I hate to say I told you so.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say this. I've said it 100 times on this podcast over.
I hate to say I told you so.
He will get what he wants. He has to. Because the only way that we're going to survive in this country is to allow the auto manufacturers to do what they do and sell product without being, that has to be reasonably priced, because if not, the automakers are not going to survive.
So
this whole thing, thinking that we're just going to bring manufacturing back to this country at the snap of a finger, is absolutely mind-boggling to me, because anybody who is in the process of trying to hire people to work can understand the grueling process of finding people that actually work.
Yeah, but and this is not a political statement.
It's a reality.
I am looking at this purely on the sidelines from just objectively. If that were the thought process from the beginning, I don't think they would have rushed these things through that quickly.
Look, let me bring this up.
So there might be other reasons.
There might be, but let me bring this up. Now, I keep hearing these blurbs of people saying, this has been his policy for years. And true, you can go back and look at Trump on Phil Donahue or any other talk show from the early 80s, mid 80s or whatever, and absolutely 100% correct. He is saying now what he was saying then. But we are talking about 1985 versus 2025.
Right.
Okay? If you were going to make America great again, you should have started in 1985.
So the Apple computers under Jobs in his first tenure as CEO were made, Apple initially were building things here in the United States.
Yeah.
That shifted, I want to say in the 90s. I'm not 100% sure. Towards the end of the 90s, I think. We started to pull more and more components in from overseas because it got less and less expensive.
Well, and EPA screwed a lot of that up too.
And then the regulatory stuff because they couldn't just barf all the toxins.
Exactly. So let's just go screw up another part of the world.
So well, those other parts of the world wanted the business so bad that they were just like, sure, we don't care.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not just picking on Apple or tech. Like this is all aspects of, it's trailer manufacturing, it's everything. Tire manufacturing, it's plates that you use to eat your dinner off of or whatever, right? So, what about coffee? Like while we're talking about food and beverage, like whoops.
Yeah.
There's only so much coffee that comes from Hawaii.
Right.
Everything else is Central America.
Central America, yes, absolutely. And then let's face it, champagne can't really be champagne unless it comes from that part of the world, right?
By the way, I found, and I've got to bring a bottle of this for next time. It is my new favorite. I haven't had cognac in a long time.
I like cognac.
And I found this French, it's got French honey in it. And it was so good.
Yeah, I bet.
That it could become a problem.
I used to drink cognac a bit back in the day when I would smoke a good
cigar. Yeah, that's what it's good.
And but I quit smoking, so I can't enjoy it but I do like it.
So
I'm more of a
this will make you forget about the cigars. It's that good.
Okay.
So
really?
we got a problem here because if he rolls over on the automotive industry and says, okay, you guys put them together here, two things are going to happen that I predict. Number one, all the other industries are going to raise a holy stink, like Apple, like,
this isn't going to stick. It can't.
Anything, right? Like appliance manufacturers, you name it, they're going to go, whoa, right? Like, what about us? What about us? We have American jobs. The other thing that's going to happen is I think there's going to be a calculated move by some of these really, really clever companies that are not based in America, that they will just go set up a false front, so to speak, that they are an American company and take the tax benefit and say they're assembling stuff here in the United States, although it's all just shipped in and put together here, right? Like they're just going to play the game.
Well, they could. I mean, there are the police for that. We have the trade police.
I mean,
for that,
remember Cash for Clunkers? And it was just what a disaster because it wasn't
a complete disaster. And it actually that impacted the rebuilding market more than anything because what they were doing was destroying engines, the cores that you could use to rebuild, and there was a shortage on engine cores.
Let's say I'm an instrument manufacturer, like an actual musical instrument, like I don't know, Yamaha or the Selmer, Bach, the wind instruments, keyboards, guitars, Gibson is here. Epson's a printer company. I was thinking Epiphone.
I got you. That's a Gibson.
Yeah.
Right.
I mashed them up, and that there you go.
That's cool.
But let's just say that some of these other companies want to play that game, and they're just going to go, okay, well, a lot of these things have metal in them, like especially if they're wind instruments. Just ship it over here, and we'll put it together in Elkhart, Indiana, and we'll say made in America.
Right.
And we'll sidestep the tariffs. That's going to happen.
It will happen. Absolutely, 100%. People get creative in ways to make a dollar.
Yeah.
And survive. And it's what's unfortunate, though, like I said earlier, is that small businesses, those are not the ones that are going to survive. It's going to be bigger corporations that win this.
They've got the resources to kind of get creative.
They have capital to deal with.
Almost an R&D budget to deal with the
pretty much
strategizing your way around it.
Absolutely. And you hit on something just earlier about robotics, like automation, right? How do you think that Amazon is able to do what they do?
Oh,
it's all automation.
Yeah, talk to anybody that's been in one of those shipping centers or worked in one of those shipping centers, and they'll tell you like there's markings on the floor that you don't cross lines, or the machine will zip down the line and take your arm off.
Yeah, and frankly, working with some of the workforce that we have these days to work with. It's a viable option because, and And I hate to say it, America needs to really wake up and just realize that.
But that's not going to happen.
We're not handed things, man.
In a month or 3 months.
No, it's not. And that's what I'm saying. If we were going to make America great again, we should have started that back in 85 when he had this idea, because he doesn't have the workforce, the skilled labor that we had back then.
Right.
I mean, that was the beginning of destroying the skilled labor workforce. And now it's gimme. I want to work remote. And that's just not how we become a.
Well, it depends. It depends on
the
the actual tasks at hand.
If
right?
you automate it, certainly.
No, I mean, you're not going to be able to get a guy install an irrigation system remotely, right? I saw the funniest meme the other day. It was a sheepdog on a computer watching sheep working from home.
Right, but ask that irrigation company where they're getting help.
Right.
Because
yeah, I get your point.
Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
They all want to. So I had a conversation with folks that are in the food industry, the food service industry, right?
Right.
So as we all know, COVID screwed everything up, right?
Yeah.
Right. So when COVID ended and we started getting back out and we opened things back up, all of these folks that own restaurants and bars are sitting there scratching their heads going, where did everybody go? Because they can't find people to work anymore. Well, I know where they went. They all took these remote jobs. They decided to make a career move. So now we're all working remotely. We're not serving food anymore.
By the way, before we're done, I've got a potential solution to this.
Okay, I like it.
Because I don't show up with just complaints without possible solutions.
I got you, man.
So, but that is a cost of living issue.
It is,
right? Like you can't afford to if you live here, you can, but we have this standard, we have this quality of life thing.
Yeah.
That we feel like everybody needs to be driving a new GM or a Ford or whatever on a 5-year or 6-year note. That's a $75,000 truck or an SUV,
mm-hmm.
and you got 3 kids and they all have like soccer, and you got to buy those musical instruments that we talked about. And I mean, it's expensive. Healthcare has gone up. Yes, you can do it for less, but you're not going to get all the niceties. You're not going to be able to go out and buy your 4 roses. It's, right? So that's the thing that we as a country are not willing to renegotiate is we want everything.
We do.
And
honestly, I'm sorry to step in on that. I would like to say this. That is one of the things that does make us one of the greatest countries on the planet.
Yeah. Well, the middle class got really big, right?
For us to have the ability to be able to do that.
So, but there's a price that comes along with that, which means that you're not going to be middle class and mow lawns, probably. Now, you might own the landscaping company or whatever, right? But I mean, I just don't. Otherwise, it's not. And it's the same in the automotive repair. Like, if you own a repair shop
mm-hmm.
and you were in that shop turning wrenches, you were trapped. Yeah. You have got to work on your business, not in your business.
Correct.
And that is quite literally the difference in the repair shops that are run well.
Yeah.
And the ones where the guy's just barely making ends meet because he's got to run back and turn wrenches.
And this is why corporations with capital
more money are going to do okay.
Are able to do okay because they have people that are focusing on the business.
Right.
And people that are running the business.
All right. So, just to bring this Farley thing to a close, I mean, he's got the clout to do it. It's Ford, right?
They are the only
Yeah.
One out of the three that did not in the whole downturn way back when, the big crash, that never took a handout.
Right. So 2008?
Yes.
So are we going to be talking about this in a month?
Yes.
Okay.
We will be.
You think the stock market's going to be better or worse 30 days from now?
Worse.
Okay.
It can't do it. The amount of damage that is done, the only way that the stock market could come back at this point is if all tariffs were lifted and we got back to normal business.
There's your soundbite for the next, 5 shorts.
That's the only way.
I hate to say I told you so.
That's it. And speaking of like stock markets, my 401k, I have lost
what 401k
exactly in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks,
I mean, it's not funny, but
in 2 weeks of this nonsense, man, I have lost everything that I put into my 401k in the first quarter of this year.
Yeah,
lost everything. It's not there now. It's just vanished.
Yeah,
and that's sickening to me.
It sucks.
It really sucks, especially for someone who's worked in the workforce for as long as I have and getting close to retirement. This is not a good thing for me. I'm not happy about it at all. So just saying. And again, this is, for me, it's not a political thing. I don't care about the politics side of it. I care about running the damn business, and somebody's not running the damn business right now.
Get off my lawn.
Exactly. And whether you guys out there realize this or not, running a country is a business. It is what it is. And we have been one of the largest economic powers on the planet for a long time, but we have become a society of consumers. Now we have become the largest consumer country in the world. We don't make stuff anymore.
Yeah.
This is why tariffs really, really hurt us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And trust me, folks.
You're just full of good sound bites today, aren't you?
I'm just telling you, man, anybody who knows and understands economics realizes that other country that we're putting the tariff on, they're not paying the tariff. You are. So there you go.
Don't let me forget my solution that I touted earlier. We've got to come back to that before the end of the podcast.
Okay.
As promised.
So let's get on. Let's move on, man. We told you guys, in the intro, we want to talk about this guy, who owns a Lucid Air.
I love them.
they're
I've seen
awesome
them in
vehicles,
person.
man. Yeah. I'd love to drive one.
I had one almost hit me the other day. I was out on a run.
Should we rent one?
We could. We go review it.
Yeah,
they're they're EVs. They're 100% electric. They are positioning themselves in the market, and we've heard like our friend of the show, Marlon Young, said, we asked him, we're like, hey, you ended a couple years back on the show. We were like, what do you think about Tesla? And he went, yeah, they just don't feel like a luxury car to me. And he's not wrong, right? So that's where you get into like an Audi e-tron, or if you want to go EV and you want luxury, this is a great alternative.
Lucid's awesome, man.
And they're priced that way too, though. I mean, they're 150 plus.
End of the day, you get what you pay for.
They are I want to say Silicon Valley. It's a California-based company.
Yep.
And
which, by the way, speaking of Marlon, real quick, let me throw this in. He sent me a picture. He apparently has
driving a Tesla.
He apparently has shot some commercial with Lionel Richie.
Yeah,
he did. I sent you that picture, right? It's just awesome, man.
Are they dancing on the ceiling?
I'll have to ask him that, man. Maybe I can get him to come over and have some Four Roses with us, and maybe he will be dancing on the ceiling.
I thought he left the country.
Marlon, if you're listening, I welcome you to come and visit us here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can come stay with me. I got room for you, my friend. We'll have a blast, and we'll go rent a Lucid. I'll let you drive it, and you can. We'll actually, I bet you I can set it up for a track day out at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Or you go up to the Corvette Museum track, which is fantastic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'll throw in a bonus for you.
But the show, Marlon, has not changed. It's the same as it was a couple years ago. We haven't gotten any better, so don't.
We're same. Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, so this guy, much like Tesla, all these modern Ford's doing it too. Toyota famously, before they cut off the 3G service, you can see where your car is. You can track it. It's like a cell phone. Like you guys that steal cars now, like
you're dumbasses.
Yeah, you pretty much
dumbasses before stealing them now. But anyway, go ahead.
So, dude, Lucid Air got stolen, which I have to wonder, how did it get stolen in the first place? Like,
so my understanding is he left his key in there, and as you well know, if you do that and it's in proximity, he left his key in the car. Yeah,
your insurance, by the way, in most cases is not going to cover that as a theft.
Nope. And typically these days, the only way to steal a modern car is to get your hands on the keys.
That's not true. I've watched so many TV shows lately. It's 2 wires, usually a yellow wire and a blue wire. You just reach under the steering column there in the dash. You grab a handful of wires, you pull down really hard, you whip out your pocket knife, you cut the yellow wire and the blue wire, you touch them together a couple of times and the car starts.
Somebody's been watching MacGyver. Somebody's been watching MacGyver, man. It's not that easy.
Maybe on a 1950s model vehicle, maybe.
Yeah.
The fact that we are still selling that as a possibility through 2025,
right,
when it even on the 80s vehicles wouldn't have worked.
I'm going to say probably anything prior to 2010, you could still make it work.
Okay.
And then, of course, Hyundai had that little slip up where they screwed up through a USB.
Yeah. Well, Honda had the thing where you could jam a freaking screwdriver in it, but that was a couple models,
Correct. There, so nothing's perfect for sure, but you're not rubbing wires together under the steering column and starting these things anymore. It's just not how it works. So too many safety features involved, but this guy ended up leaving his key fob in the car. And of course, you get door checkers, which happens all the time, just hoping for an opportunity. And most crimes like these are crimes of opportunity. And they're just going around checking doors, and they check his door, and lo and behold, it opened. And the key fob's in there. If it opens, guess what? You're going to be able to start the thing. So that's what happened.
Over 100. This is a 1,000 horsepower plus vehicle.
Yes.
Like, it's a rocket ship.
It is.
Okay.
Most EVs get serious horsepower out of it.
So dude, they were joyriding. He could see it on the app, right?
Yep. Could see it on the app. And here's the funny thing. He didn't realize his car was gone until later in the day because he just
was working from home. He was
remotely.
Apparently a sheepdog watching the sheep on the webcam.
That's
right?
it. That's it. And he didn't realize it had been stolen until later in the day. But luckily for him, Keith, go ahead and elaborate on that.
By the way, this is coming from torquenews.com.
Well, wait a minute. If it's torque news, does that mean is it news that you're pissed off about?
It could be.
Okay.
Could torque, like horsepower torque.
I understand. Well, I get a little torqued once in a while. I get a little.
And like I pointed out earlier, I didn't see that they mentioned this in the article. You leave your keys in the car, your insurance company is probably going to deny that claim. So he took matters into his own hands. He tracked the car
through a Lucid app.
Yeah. I mean, remember, you're logged into the app.
That's it.
Once you sync that you are the owner of that app, you can retain access to that app for a good long period of time. So he just followed the car and waited until they basically stopped using it and parked it. And because you can unlock the car, you can, with your phone, it's like a key.
Yep.
And that's true of Teslas. That's true of a lot of the Fords now. Yes. Like, you don't have to necessarily have the key to get access to the vehicle.
Right.
So, dude left it in his driveway. Apparently, thief parked it in his own driveway because, speaking of dumbass.
Right. Actually, it was on the curb.
Okay, well.
In front of the thief's house.
Yeah.
And he found it. And what's interesting is that he knocked on some doors in the area and finally got one of the neighbors and said, "Hey, I'm going to surveil this thing."
Even better,
van, right?
Right.
And then the neighbor says, "Hey, do you want me to videotape this van for evidence?"
Presumably, like on her doorbell cam or whatever, right?
So I'm cracking up. She's totally into the PI
Why not,
side
man?
of it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we got the tech now. You guys that are stealing anything from somebody's home, automobile, you're dumbasses. Like, it's just, you know what? This is a little sad because the harmless kid, teenager prank, ding dong dash, is gone.
It is. It's unfortunate. As innocent of a prank those were, you could end up getting killed these days from doing those sorts of things. So you have to be very careful.
I had a guy in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the old, just Facebook has just turned into a bunch of just people complaining, but I won't go there again. Somebody posted on the neighborhood page, does anybody know who these kids are? And it was a video from the doorbell cam. and it was like a couple 12-year-olds in hoodies, and they just ran up and rang the doorbell, and they were all giggling, and they took off like they ding-donged the doorbell and took off running. Yeah, it's a ding-dong dash, man. That's what you do.
Fun stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And the old dude was like, I got a couple of like ARs in the closet. I'm going to come in. It's like, yeah, jackass. Good luck with that. You kill somebody's kid on your front lawn for ringing your doorbell.
You're going to prison for a long
and then
time,
some.
man. Yeah.
Because if I'm the dad and that's my kid, you're going somewhere else.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man.
So, yeah, you can't. Yeah, but back to the stealing cars now. Like it doesn't even have to be an EV. They've all got this in them.
They do. So this guy, basically sits there for a little while and kind of surveils the whole situation. And he has his own key fob. He has his phone. He's got the app. He goes up to the car and he steals it back. And he did report it to the police, but luckily for him, he knows that they took some joyrides in it because of the amount of charge that was left. It was fully charged, obviously, when they stole it, and it had minimal amount of battery left in it, but enough to get him. And understandably, because it was only like 3 miles from where he lives, is where it ended up being. So he got it back, and of course, the moral of the story is don't leave your keys.
Right now, to Lucid's credit, if you don't leave your keys in the car, here are the countermeasures that they have posted, and I've got them up here. I think. Am I showing this on my screen?
Well, let's see.
Yeah. Do you see it, Jay?
I do see it.
All right. So Lucid says these are their anti-theft countermeasures that they have built into the vehicle. Number one, if you don't have the keys, it's the car. You can still drive the car with the app. You got to have a PIN code. So you forget your keys, you lose your keys, you can still make it home.
Gotcha.
You got your phone. You unlock the car. You get in the car. You put in a PIN code. You're good to go, right? But you got to have the PIN,
right?
Which a thief presumably would not have. If you don't have the PIN, but you somehow get the car to go, an alarm is going to sound until the battery is dead.
Right.
The owner is going to be notified on the mobile app that the car is being moved without a key in it.
Right.
So, for example, and you can think, well, how could you move it without a key? Put it on a flatbed trailer, right? Like, not everybody with a tow truck is honest.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that could happen. Or you just do what this guy did and you track it, right? Like as long as there's power to that battery on some level and it doesn't take much, that thing's going to ping.
Yep. It will.
And people are going to be able to find
just
it.
like a phone.
Yeah.
It'll ping just like a phone. Here's the thing though. The one thing I want to make clear here is that while this technology is awesome in instances like this, you must understand that by using these things in our everyday lives, your privacy is becoming more and more compromised. So just know that. So,
on a previous podcast, we found GM got caught red-handed by the feds selling driver data without the driver's consent.
And that's another side of this.
What podcast was that?
That was podcast 166 or either 7.
You got to listen to both of them to find out.
Absolutely, you do. It was not long ago. We talked about it. But the bottom line is just understand that with technology and vehicles like this, you do give up a lot of your privacy.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're hitting the local deja vu, man, you better be careful.
What is that?
What, deja vu?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like something that happened yesterday.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, those don't exist anymore. That's they've got the famous moniker was like 50 beautiful women and 3 ugly ones or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a gentleman's club, right?
If you want to call it that.
They have
most of the people, men go in anyway, whatever.
They still have those, but that one is way to date yourself, Jay. That was before you left town.
We got what's the ranch out in Vegas? What was it called?
The Bunny Ranch.
The Bunny Ranch.
I've seen the TV show.
Right.
Whatever.
Speaking of bunnies, man. Where
are you going with this?
Somebody asked me recently about Vegas, like, where are some good like cocktail bars? I'm like, Velveteen Rabbit.
Oh yeah, that. And then if you're going to be on the Strip, you go to the Piano Lounge or the library bar,
Park MGM.
God,
what was the name of that bar, man? I forget.
The library.
That's our favorite spot.
Yeah, it was the library bar.
Yeah,
bookshelves and the whole. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Piano Man. The piano.
Matthew can't think of his last name. We need to get him on the show.
Oh man, you throw him a $20 bill down and say, "Hey, play Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam on piano, and he nails it.
I have been actually, every time I run across one that I think would be tough for him, it secretly goes into my, I'm going to save this a little Snoop Dogg for him or something, gin and juice, right? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know if he could pull off gin and juice.
I don't know, man. I tell you what, he is really, really good at anything Billy Joel does.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, so let's move on to the next story.
This one has balls.
It does have balls, man. It's something for you guys to really just grab a hold of. Oh man, I didn't just say that, did I?
You did.
Oh,
it's on.
Which way are we going here?
Yeah,
man?
right.
I don't know, man. Jeez.
So where is this guy out of?
I'm gonna say probably Germany or something like that.
Contraption inventor. That's a word I haven't heard in a long time. This is off of thomasnet.com. Contraption inventor, James Burton.
Yeah. So he creates a omnidirectional bike. And
what do you have to, what qualifies you as a contraption inventor? How many? Is it, I made a coffee grinder last week and, shake weights this week and now I'm on to balance?
I think so.
Okay.
A contraption inventor. Yeah. I would say so.
All right.
Maybe a couple of mouse traps in there.
Sure. Okay.
And we're always trying to build the better one, right?
Right.
So,
okay.
But anyway, yeah, this is pretty cool. You going to pull the video?
It's up.
You got it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, man. So basically this guy, contraption inventor James Burton, he created a self-balancing omnidirectional electric bike with 5 motors. And he built a bike also that sits on, he built a bike that sits on 2 red balancing balls using equilibrium, being a state of opposite forces creating physical balance, which is very cool.
We've got this in drones right now.
Well, drones, but so does the Segway kind of operate in that manner?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So
one wheel, same deal.
One wheel,
right?
same thing. So it's a balancing thing,
yeah.
right? So, but it has these motors that are built into it that keeps you balanced. But this thing can move in any freaking direction.
Yeah, right. So instead of just front, forward, and backward, you can go side to side. We've seen that on some futuristic movie motorcycles. The interesting thing to me is he just used RC car batteries. They're 6S lithium LiPo batteries. So the S is, I'm not going to do this justice. I've got a couple 6S's. They're pretty big, and I've got a really big drone that was a self-built drone that needed a big old battery pack. RC cars, the big scale trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's essentially the S is the number of cells, I think, in the pack. Each cell is only 3.7 volts, if I'm not mistaken, 3.75 volts, somewhere in there.
It has to make this thing extremely
So you build them in is it series or parallel where you increase the voltage?
It's in series.
Okay, so you build them in series, that's the S, right? And there's 6 of them, and they're in a series, and that gives you whatever 3.7 times 6 is, that's his voltage.
Yeah, he gave, it can push out about 50 volts is what he says.
Okay.
It's powered by 665 lithium polymer batteries.
6S, that's an S.
Yes. Oh, 6S lithium polymer.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse my eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's also pretty cool about this thing is that most of the parts...
Oops. Hey, Jay, the video has music.
Contraption inventor.
There you go. Keep going.
Hey, contraption inventor. Anyway.
They even called him that on the video.
They did.
Yeah.
Most of the parts assembled on the bike are custom 3D printed, designed by him with CAD and custom software. Other structural metal parts were designed by him as well.
I'm so distracted by the fact that he has the same brick backdrop that I used in our first year of podcast.
First year podcast is true. Yeah. Needless to say, however, this bike is no off-the-shelf build. Absolutely.
Well, he's using, this is a true MacGyver build. He's using exercise balls, inflatable exercise balls. And then, like you said, a lot of 3D printed parts with electronic controllers and cogwheels and gears.
Here's how I see this thing working.
Yeah.
Right? Our next segment, we're going to tie this into that. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll get into that in a minute, because I see a use for this type of bike somewhere, somehow, in a far, far distant galaxy. Far,
you paint
far
this
away.
thing black and Batman's riding it. I mean, it's,
True.
I'm not sure it's good for picking up the ladies, but I don't know. You never know.
It's got big balls.
Yeah, this is the, you ladies want to take a ride in my love machine kind of, yeah, right?
I love machine.
So, it looks fun as hell.
I would ride it.
Yeah.
I would totally ride it, man.
And I can see the nimbleness just being being able to whip in and out of traffic and tight spaces.
What's nice, it can do a lateral move, forward, backwards.
Right.
Like it says, it's omnidirectional, man. I mean, it can go any direction that you want it to go in. That's what makes it so cool. And so, it's the motors, and I knew right away that there had to be a number of motors on this thing to make that happen. Now, again, it's a prototype situation for him, but I could see some manufacturer looking at this technology and going,
Yep.
Especially if I'm NASA, right?
Or a tech company.
Maybe, maybe Elon's next vehicle.
Well,
space.
He's got to stop pissing off his shareholders before, he's going to have to dig himself out of this. And that's a whole other podcast. We could spend time just devoted to nothing but the state of Tesla today.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird. I
didn't intentionally do this, but two writable topics right next to each other, back to back. This one, full R&D of the Kawasaki company, like the same Kawasaki company from Kawasaki, Japan, that does motorcycles
and a number of other.
Right. So, four-legged. Okay. Like, just when you think it's crazy enough, there's another level of crazy. So, it looks like a dog. Mm-hmm. They call it a robot horse. It's on four legs. It's a robot.
Mm-hmm.
It's drivable with a handlebar like a motorcycle.
Right.
And it's powered by hydrogen.
As well as AI.
Right.
It has AI in it, and it's just, this thing is, it's called the Corleo.
Oh, they named it too.
Yeah, it's called the Corleo. It's a two-seater quadruped robot you steer with your body. It's capable of picking its way through rough terrain thanks to what they call AI vision.
Because why use wheels, Jay, when you can just have a modern day horse?
Yes,
right?
absolutely, man. And it's the latest concept vehicle from Kawasaki Heavy Industries, and it's not the motorcycle division specifically,
which is weird to me. They would put it under their heavy duty side and not their like sport, power sport.
I think for an invention like this, you have to market it well, and marketing it under that division over recreational vehicles makes more sense for them, because you and I were talking about when we were seeing this, what could you do with this thing, right?
Well, it has military applications for sure.
Absolutely.
Right?
And exploration.
Yeah.
So if we're going to Mars on rough terrain, and we can do a manned Mars mission, and you need some vehicle to get over, just like the rover we built for the moon, right? Same situation.
Hydrogen fuel cells, right?
Yeah.
And it produces water as a byproduct.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We can grow shit.
Yeah.
We can drink.
Yeah. Put a can on the tailpipe.
Hell, man, you might even be able to, distill some bourbon up there.
So it has hooves with rubber treads.
Yep.
They're bifurcated, which I think just means it's like
two. It's two.
Yeah.
Bifurcated is two. Yeah. So the back legs are bifurcated.
Yeah. Okay.
So it gives it that much more agility, so it can actually jump and grip and maneuver over very rough terrain. Yeah. Okay. That's what it's designed for. So it's not just a rideable walk along; it can physically jump.
All right, so I'm going to play this video now.
It's so cool.
Fair warning, it's probably going to have
it'll have music.
It's going to have audio and it's going to be loud for a second and all that. Just bear with me here, and I'll get it up on the screen. But can you see the modern day TV commercial where the dude pulls up next to actual horses and ties it off and plugs it in?
Oh, totally. That's a great market.
Right. Kawasaki, are you listening? All right, let's see what we get. I muted it because it's just loud. Loud as hell.
Can you expand that screen a little bit, maybe?
I can try. Let's see what happens.
Man. It's right there. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so the dude is on the mountains. He's about to Tom Cruise it off the edge there. He's got a helmet on.
Pretty crazy.
So that's good. It's just a bicycle helmet.
See the jump?
Yeah.
And that's coming off the two back legs.
This is straight out of a movie. This is like, I want to ride my dragon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
Wow. Oh, it's got terrain maps. Of course, it's got a heads up display.
Yep.
Or that's coming out of his helmet. Who knows?
And so it looks like when it's detecting that it's okay to move forward.
Yep. Oh, dual riders. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
It said it's a 2-seater.
Is mom and kid going to go off the edge of the waterfall? Or
now, notice this too. This thing has hips.
Yeah, I see that.
The back hips. You notice that?
Yep.
I mean, it is full on like a horse or a dog.
This is crazy.
It's insane. But you know what? With today's technology, it doesn't surprise me that something like this could be achieved. And, the Japanese do a fine job with they're not stuck in a rut. They're not afraid to try something.
Yeah. I love this. We need more of this.
The world needs innovation. More of this. It's innovation, and we do need more of this. And if we're going to move forward as a society and get better at what we do and not have potholes in the road, we got to.
Well, you just buy the horse or the horse dog thing to Corleo or whatever, and then it deals with the potholes on its own.
That's it. That's it. So,
can you imagine a herd of these things on the way to work in the express lane?
Funny, man. Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny?
Yeah.
So, speaking of vehicles that could be used on other planets or whatever, what it's designed for, we just talked about the omnidirectional bike. Similar situation. The application for those types of vehicles, mobility is, Keith and I get into so much of mobility. We really love to see the innovation when it comes to mobility. It's not just automobiles. It's everything. We think it's really cool, especially when it comes to recreation because we get to ride and stuff. But this is not that far off from being a real offering to someone.
It's not 10 years out.
No, I think I think it's ready probably to go into some production. The only thing that I see that could be a bit of an inhibitor here would be the fact that it is hydrogen powered, but we have access to hydrogen fuel sources, and we can get into the weeds. And as soon as more information comes out about how it stores the hydrogen fuel cell, obviously it'd be a fuel cell type vehicle. We'll get into that. So I hope that this is not the last that we hear of this. And I'm certain that there are explorers out there, especially in the space exploration, that are keeping their eyes on this thing because this is like candy.
I just want to go riding on one through the,
heck yeah,
the Mountain West.
You got a little Top Gun stuff over there by chance?
I don't.
Oh, that's
no watch the mountains.
Which speaking of that, man, we lost Ice, the Iceman. Val Kilmer, man. We lost him at the age of 65.
My favorite movies I'm learning of his are not the ones that a lot of people. I have my own favorites, right? My number one favorite movie that he did was The Saint.
That's a great movie.
He literally shifts into characters one after the other in that movie in real time. Like he becomes this guy and that guy, and you watch the transformation happen, right? And he's just all these different characters. Like he picks up the accent and he does the full character, right? And it's so great.
He is a student or was a student of the craft.
Yeah.
And to get into character as well as he did on so many occasions. And again, you and I are both huge music fans, obviously. And
The Doors is
the Doors movie, man, was so fantastic.
That's way up there for me.
I mean, he just absolutely. I mean, I was taken aback by that.
His mannerisms, and he sang.
It was so.
That was him. He did the same thing that Joaquin Phoenix did on the Johnny Cash movie. They chose to use his own voice because it was more authentic.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything in that Doors movie like watching footage of Morrison and then watching that movie. And I think Kubrick did that.
Yes.
I was just blown away. I thought I was watching Jim Morrison.
It's insane, man.
And I saw a great interview with Kilmer where he just said, basically, if the role doesn't cost anything, I'm not interested in doing it, right? Like there has to be the value to the role.
Yeah.
I would put The Doors as my number 2 role of his.
Okay.
Number 3 is Real Genius.
That was a good movie.
Oh
man.
my God. That was one of
There's
his
some
first
comedy
movies.
in that.
Oh, it was a comedy.
Yeah.
On a lot of levels.
Absolutely.
This was before the tech boom of the 90s. This was before any of that. This was Kilmer as a very, very young, like either late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And it
Almost
was
war game-ish, right? Like
it was
kinda
essentially a bunch of MIT kids that
that's
were
it.
uber nerds.
Yeah.
And oh man, it is to this day still a great watch.
But honestly, man, so uncanny that the whole Morrison thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kurt, this is God, Kurt.
yes.
Remember that from the movie?
I do remember that. God, man, there were some really, really good movies in the 80s like that. Yeah. Wow.
Top Gun was great. Nothing against Top Gun.
Yeah.
I loved his role in that. It was an iconic movie.
Iconic enough that Tom brought him back in the Maverick,
he was capable of so much more outside of that role.
Yeah.
I know everybody loved him as Batman. I hate Joel Schumacher, and Joel Schumacher directed that one, I think. And Joel Schumacher's movies are ugh.
So he was the unfortunate recipient of cancer. And
he was a big cigar smoker.
Yep. And guys,
have you seen his documentary on Amazon Prime?
I'm watching it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his son that narrated it.
Yes.
And he sounds like a young him.
He does, and I had no idea that he filmed everything that he did.
He did.
He filmed everything.
I thought they were using AI to recreate his voice.
I did as well, but no.
Yeah.
No. That was a real deal.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's getting a lot of views now because of that. But
I would have loved to have seen his one-man Mark Twain show.
Yeah, but one of my favorite actors of all time, no doubt about it. I liked Val. He was a great guy, well loved in the community of arts. So rest in peace, Iceman.
65, right?
65 years
another
old.
frequenter of New Mexico.
Yes,
the Santa Fe area.
Yeah,
Gene Hackman being the other one.
Yep. Exactly, man. So why we mentioned that is because we want to talk about the next thing. It looks like Boeing has won the contract on the next generation air dominance fighter. They're calling it the F-47.
Yeah, that's weird. Why would they choose that? 47. Does that number have any?
F.
So I got to tell you this. I don't know that I've ever talked about this on this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a secret. It's just not. I've never had a reason to go into it.
Yeah.
But I will just quickly dip into this just a little bit. I grew up in the Midwest. You know that. And most of you that have listened to more than 5 episodes have heard me talk about that, right?
This is true. True.
So the big military contractor in my teenage years was McDonnell Douglas.
Okay.
They built the F-15 Eagle in St. Louis. They built a lot of things. They had several, I guess we'll call them assembly facilities, whatever.
They did. They also built a jet that I worked on as well.
Okay. They had a big presence in Seattle. I think it was in the Tacoma area.
Absolutely.
There was a merger, or Boeing acquired them, or some version of that happened. And Boeing shifted a lot of the development around to other areas of the country.
Mm-hmm.
There was a marked decline in quality, I feel like,
of course,
and in R&D after that Boeing acquisition. Now, it was two guys, McDonnell and Douglas, right? They ran things a little differently, to say the least, and I feel like Boeing got involved and things started to change.
Agreed.
Now, in recent years, Boeing has taken heat because they can't make commercial jets without like things going wrong and doors flying off or whatever.
Right.
And of course, there was the whole 737 MAX.
Workforce.
Go watch that documentary, and like they put stuff on the plane that they didn't want to spend the time teaching people about that ended up causing crashes and all that. So
it's crazy, insane.
Boeing is very good at marketing. And I remember having neighbors. I had kids whose dads worked for McDonnell Douglas, which then became Boeing. And they would come home with stories. Some of it they couldn't talk about, but some of it would would leak out and they would discuss.
Right.
And I remember when the Raptor, the current generation fighter, they won the contract for that. I believe that's theirs. One of the guys that was involved in that said, yeah, we just basically pitched like this thing to the government that we haven't any clue on how to fully build yet.
Right.
And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're really good at selling something that they can't or haven't made yet.
Right.
And this is kind of that. And I'm pointing out like the 47, obviously, right? Like that's they're trying to, get. Isn't it kind of a bad idea to not test drive the car if the car is the next gen attack fighter for your military before you commit to a contract on it? And how did we end up here?
Well, this is geez, some good points, man. It is.
First of all, is it going to get off the ground?
It is my understanding that I'm hearing through specific media outlets that there has been some flying of this over the last 5 years.
Okay, well then I could be wrong there.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
Okay.
I've been hearing that. I see no proof of that.
Well, would you though? I mean, it's top secret, right?
Well, it could be.
But let's look at this. You said earlier, like you want to run the government like a business, right?
Right.
The United States government.
Right.
I'm familiar with a process, RFP. You know what an RFP is? Request for proposal.
Yeah.
So let's say you're a healthcare company, okay, and you want to implement a new anesthesiology program where you're monitoring, like you anesthetize patients to put them under for whatever surgery they're going to have, and you need to be able to monitor their vitals on an iPad, right? So you've got like 8 people under at the same time, but there's only one anesthetician. I hope I'm not saying any of this wrong. I just went down this rabbit hole. I had no idea I was. I don't know why I chose this, but
again, everybody, this is what we do.
So that guy's got to be able to keep an eye on 8 people all at once. And I've learned from some of those guys. One of them lives in my neighborhood that like, seconds are a big deal. Like that guy could be dead in 20 seconds. If I'm not watching his vitals and a minute goes by and something has happened and I don't see it,
right?
He's done for, right?
Yeah.
So they would send out an RFP. I'm just giving a real world example here. And they would look at 4 or 5 or 7 or 8 or whatever it is until they close the RFP and say, come show us your product and basically sell us on it and let us compare it and see what it can do. And we'll evaluate it based on our needs. I would do something like that for a military fighter jet.
Yeah.
Basically an RFP.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they didn't do that. I mean, there's a limited number of people that can build it. You're not going to buy one from another country because there's a secret, you would really rather it be built here.
Yeah. So when was the contract awarded to them? Was it like over the last month or two or something like that?
So Boeing announced it on March 21st, 2025.
Okay. There you go. Now, who was the one that made the decision to award them with that?
I don't know that. Do you know that?
That would be the Department of Defense.
Oh, well, what's his name? That's, well, wait a second, Jay. Did they, am I actually going to do this? Did they give it to him on Signal?
Yeah, maybe so. So here's the thing. This is what I want to say to you guys. Keith is spot on 100% about having the understanding of what it takes to get something off the ground and be successful. Speaking of Boeing, who has had some shortcomings and it has cost them a lot of money.
Well, the good news is they don't need like doors on this one.
Correct. But let me this is verbatim. Okay. And again, we're just quoting the news. This is all we're doing. Now, announced at a White House press briefing, Trump, Tariff King, noted an experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. Within minutes of the announcement of the F-47 designation, wits online were wondering whether it was a discreet dig at the 47th president and whether it stood for 47 or not. I mean, had to throw that in.
They're smart, man. Like, if it helps you win the contract, which is worth billions, why not? Right? Like, who cares? I mean, I'll call it whatever you want if you'll buy it. You know,
I'm just cracking up at the fact that you have someone standing up there at the podium saying, "I hear they've been flying this thing for right," and you're going to give them.
I hear they have.
Yeah, right. So I bring that up because I wanted to like exclamate your point.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Which is the fact that you just don't go from prototype to the assembly line in a very short amount of time.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking about this right now, but let's revisit this in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, because I guarantee you this is not going to be coming down the pike.
Well, and like, just to sprinkle a little conspiracy on it, all you guys with your UFO sightings, who knows? It could have been one of these, right?
Could have been.
I just don't. I mean, so okay. So the other major competitor would be Lockheed Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
they're out of Georgia, right?
I think so. Yeah, and they haven't won a major contract in a while.
Yeah.
And I would add some amount of weight to my decision-making process in consideration of Boeing's recent struggles to make a quality product.
Oh, yeah. Which is scary, by the way.
I mean, it's the best in the world if it'll hold itself together, right? Like,
absolutely. I mean,
nothing.
What I don't understand, and you guys have to realize this, is that how can a manufacturer of certain class passenger aircraft can do so well in quality to the point that where those jets have flown for decades flawlessly with just upkeep, maintenance,
right,
periodic maintenance, and those sorts of things. And then all of a sudden you come out with a new aircraft and it's killing people.
The priorities have shifted.
Absolutely,
to,
100%.
Quality control is not
right, which is another problem we have in this country, right? Quality control.
Yeah.
We have a problem with
It's expensive.
Yes, it is.
You know what? Quick digression here into the next story, which is back to vehicles.
Right.
I was talking to a repair shop owner the other day who shall remain nameless, friend of mine. Okay. He's not, for you super sleuths that think you got this figured out, he's not here in Nashville, so it's not a local shop.
Gotcha.
And I was looking at his boards. You know how they have the boards up that show, okay, it's in check-in, it's in diagnostics, I
love that.
Yeah.
I love that the automotive repair industry has adopted what the medical industry has,
right? Like, here's where the patient is in the process.
I think it's great. Yeah. It's informative.
And, it also helps the owners of that business know who's outside vaping, right? And doesn't have a car in their bay, right? Or whatever, right? Like, it's their way of basically, because they need to stay busy, right? Like, that's,
absolutely,
it's money to them. If they're not running, if that bay sits empty, they're losing money.
Yes, they are.
So I was like, we were looking at his board and he wanted to adjust the QC window. So what happens is, for you guys that have never seen one of these boards that we're talking about, if it sits in the quality control line for more than whatever he set, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, it'll start to flash red.
Right.
Like it's a warning, it's an alert. Hey, somebody go check on this car to make sure that we haven't forgotten about it. We need to follow up with the customer.
Right.
It's a good quality control. It's basically quality control of the quality control process.
Certainly.
Okay. And he's like, I need to crank that down to 15 minutes. And I went, 15 minutes? And he went, yeah. And I went, you're going to take that car, go get the keys, test drive it. And there's usually only one or two guys at the most that are checked out on the insurance to test drive a customer's car.
Right.
Drive it down the road, get at highway speeds, 5-10 minutes, come back. And you only need 15 minutes to do that? And he went, QC's kind of just, right? And I'm like, oh, bro, like that.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Like that matters. That phase of the process doesn't make them money. It can lose them money if it comes back.
Absolutely.
They're not looking at that because they're going to blame the guy that fixed it if it's not fixed right.
Correct.
So there's no QC, which is probably why my motorhome never made it from Oklahoma City to Nashville without breaking down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Here, let me do that for you.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you repair it? And when you repair it, I'll inspect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane, man, that I don't want to go on a tangent on that, but we'll say that for another podcast. We've talked about it numerous occasions, but the level of quality that goes into anything anymore just blows my mind, and it's a sad state. But anyway, so tariffs again.
So we're back to this is Audi. Now you had a theory that you were going to float about used cars being. Yeah. We're going to get into that. But,
absolutely.
Okay,
this is a fine example of why that's going to happen.
All right. So what do we got here? This is from Cars Direct. Audi is pausing vehicle deliveries due to tariffs.
Correct. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. A lot of it is.
What?
A lot of it is because. Yeah. And a lot of it is because the tariffs. It's a moving target at this point. Nobody knows what to charge, when, where, whatever. And automakers like this stand to lose a ton of money if they are not charging the correct amount of tariff, right?
Yeah.
Because the automaker... Because
they don't have giant margins on these cars.
They have to pay for it, and they have to pass it on to the consumer.
Right.
So they have to be very careful about how they maneuver through this tariff process, right? So Audi is just another one of those that has been plagued by the tariffs. Basically... Let's just who's this coming from?
Well, it's coming from Cars Direct, but the Audi confirms, according to Cars Direct, that they will be holding vehicles that are assembled in Mexico and overseas. Assembled, there's that word.
Yes.
Right? And delivered to ports in the U.S. after April 2nd.
Yep.
So not coming. Now, I have a Toyota.
Yep.
FJ Ultimate Edition 2014. It was one of 2,500 made. It was made in Japan. It's awesome. It was built well. It was great. When I found out it was not made here, I actually was even happier because I felt like the QC would be a little bit better. So where this gets weird is, if it's an Audi that is built here and assembled here, you're going to be able to get it. And Audi is, of course, owned by Volkswagen.
Correct.
But if it's one of the models that happens to be made not here in the United States,
correct,
meaning Mexico or overseas,
that is a real import.
Yeah, you're not going to get it.
No. Yep.
Not at least not right away.
Right.
That's going to be delayed.
Which, these sorts of things, man, we've talked about this too. It's like when you look to purchase a vehicle. So for example, if you're looking in the Asian market, right? Say Toyota, Nissan, Hyundai, Kia, those brands, right? Asian market brands. If you are someone who does their homework and you're someone who is into quality control, you do realize that those markets, if completely 100% manufactured, assembled, and exported into the United States,
right,
for sale, you're probably going to be getting a really, really good built vehicle. I
have a theory on this. Okay. Now, Cars Direct says that Audi reportedly has 37,000 vehicles in stock at dealerships across the United States today.
Yep.
So it's not like you're not going to be able to get an Audi.
Correct.
Okay. What's going to happen is there are certain models that you're not going to be able to get.
There's going to be shortages on new models.
So we started talking earlier, and this is going to segue nicely, I think, into your used car example.
Yeah.
About the issue of the middle class in the United States being so big now, which is a good thing.
Yes.
We all have these luxuries of being able to afford Four Roses and, all the good stuff.
Right.
And we can all go drive a nice, luxury vehicles everybody's got one now. You got like a Lexus or a BMW or an Audi or a Lincoln Navigator or, some of the stuff that Stellantis owns, like Maserati's a little bit more higher end.
It is.
But you get my point.
Fiat.
Like, or Cadillac, if you want to. Yeah, sure. So those are more accessible to the middle class now.
Yeah.
What I predict is going to happen here is you are going to widen the gap from the elite and the middle class, meaning that Audi that you wanted, that you might have been able to afford, that was maybe an A8 or whatever, I don't know, right? That was an $80, $90, $120,000 car. I haven't priced one in a while. You're not going to be able to get it now, but that executive of the company that you work for, he can still access it because he'll have the resources to go have it imported and pay the tax.
Now Audi turns into a VIP automaker, right?
Yeah.
And that's potentially could happen.
So good job if your intent was to restrict the type of products that the people here could have access to.
Right.
And I'm not sure that was the intent, but that's what could happen. Now, what you can do is you can go buy the 2-year-old one.
Right. Absolutely. That has no tariff on it. And that's what I've had people ask me about, what do you think the landscape looks like, say, over the next 6 months to a year with the tariffs in place for the auto industry,
right,
as the sellers, right? The new car market, right? Do you and of course being in the repair industry too, supplying to the aftermarket for repair industries, the repair industry, I realize the impact that these types of things have on the rebuilding side of things. And I said to myself, self.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to throw the self thing in there. Okay, yeah.
Can I get a drum roll? Thank you. A little rim shot. So I said, yeah, you know what? You know who's going to really, really win? I think we're going to see a surge in used car sales.
Yeah.
We're going to see used car sales go up because people are not going to pay the tariffs. They're not going to be able to afford those increased costs because as you guys well know, in episode 169, we physically calculated the amount of increase of a new vehicle after the tariffs went into place. And some of these vehicles, the sticker price would change as much as $6,000 to $10,000 higher than they were 2-3 months ago before tariffs kicked in. So people are looking at alternatives. So when you go to like a Toyota dealership and you go buy a certified Toyota, used Toyota, that's a great buy.
Yeah. If
it's a certified Toyota that has gone through Toyota's extreme quality inspection process, they certify it pre-owned, and you're going to get a good vehicle. In a lot of cases, you can still absorb the low cost of a warranty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That will still be in place. You just continue to pay that.
Or you buy an extended warranty on them, which they will a lot of times sell you on a certified pre-owned.
Absolutely correct.
And here's the thing, and this is why I think that 100% tracks. If I am in the market for a car, most people do their homework and they narrow it down to a couple different models.
Right.
If both of those models are affected by this, maybe, I don't know, whatever, you want a Q8 or an A8, or I don't know where the e-trons are made. Maybe you want an e-tron, right? Like let's just, for the sake of argument, say that those aren't made here in the United States.
Right.
You still want that car. You might be willing to go back a year or two.
Certainly.
Pick up one that came in on that was on a lease. And you might even still buy it from the Audi dealer if it's a certified pre-owned, right?
I wouldn't hesitate.
So it's not like you're not going to be able to get one. You're just not going to be able to get the brand new one. That one goes to the CEO of your company.
Correct.
And I do think that does boost the used car market.
100%.
The challenge there is it will hit Audi and all of the manufacturers' bottom line because there are way more competitive. if I want to buy a used Tesla, I don't have to buy it from Tesla. If I want to buy a used Audi, I don't have to buy it from Audi. I can go buy it from 100 places.
Right.
Or an individual.
I tell you, man, in this case, I think it makes manufacturers shift a little bit and maybe offering a service program for the used vehicle, which they already do. Keith, you understand that more than I do at this moment because of your presence in that field. But the bottom line is there are creative ways for manufacturers to make money here. And it doesn't have to be on new cars.
I mean, what's your goal, right? And this gets a little bit off the beaten path. I'll quickly step in and out of this. The European models, just as a general rule, and maybe we should do a podcast on this as to why, or a video. German or European, which is European, the cost of maintenance across the board, and this is decades of research data. It's not, it's 40, 50% more than American.
Absolutely.
Car. Like, it doesn't matter what. You can go buy a Volkswagen Golf.
They do not play by the rules that normal automakers do. They don't.
And every shop owner that
throw your
owns,
book time, throw your Mitchell Manual book time out the window because they're just making it up as they go.
Do you do Euros? Do you do Americans? Do you do both?
Right.
If they do both, they have an expected amount of revenue that they're going to get off the Euro work that is way more than the American vehicle.
Correct.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Now, there's a trade-off for that. People will argue that they handle better, they perform better, they're better, all that, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to step into that. But what I do want you to understand is the maintenance on a European model is here in the United States. It is a standard accepted fact that it is at least 30% more than an American car. If you didn't know that, you should be subscribed.
And
because you'll hear more stuff like that.
And just understand that BMW stands for bring money with.
Right, yeah.
That's a running joke in the automotive industry, right? So
okay, so last one, back to a U.S. made.
So
this is just go ahead. I'll save it for a minute.
As if the truck market was.
I'll take my last hit off of.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can have more. You want more?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So as if the pickup truck market wasn't already bloated enough. So now we're going to take a compact pickup truck or mid-size. It's not compact anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be. Now it's mid-size. The Ford Ranger apparently is going to come out with a Super Duty version of it. Why?
This is from the archives of what the actual. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Why is that? What's the point?
Because people will.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw a guy today. I was out on a run. He's a landscaper. He had the big, like high-speed lawnmowers that they, can do like a whole field and race across the field and be done in like 15 minutes if there's like two of them doing it. And it's like those things will do like 30, 40 miles an hour. They're flying, right?
Yeah.
These things are heavy. I don't know what they weigh, but they're heavy. He was pulling it with a Maverick. He was pulling a trailer with his front-wheel drive Maverick. Right? And I guess, whatever, right? But why?
Can you really, though, call a Ford Ranger a Super Duty?
It's a name only.
Right.
Right?
What
does Super Duty mean? It means upgraded suspension, brakes. It's a heavier duty.
It's heavier duty than a heavy duty. And a Ford Ranger does not come anywhere close to being heavy duty.
But it's a Super Duty compared to the standard Maverick duty.
Right. If you like marketing, then here you go. I mean, that is the point. So I wanted to come about this story and talk about this for one reason and one reason only. You guys are being snowed. Go ahead and buy all that crap. I'm telling you, you're not getting anything worth a crap here.
All right, here we go. Take one. Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick Super Duty for truck people that don't know what they're buying.
I like it, man. It's truth. It's truth. This is probably one of the and again, I can't confirm that this is actually going to happen, but it says 2026 they're going to come out with a version of this. But I can't think of any reason why I would want to buy this.
Well, now there's a little bit of because we can to this, right? Like we're in America, we do this stuff because we can, right? And fine.
No, and there's a lot of Ford going, We're doing this because we know you idiots will buy this
But
stuff.
why do you need to spend the extra money on a Super Duty Maverick when you could go get the Ranger or an F-150? And, you know, all the marketing, and I might as well put it up on screen here. We're looking at this thing, and it's towing little tow behind off trail overland campers.
Yeah.
Just go get an F-150.
Yeah.
You're going to be so close in price by the time you...
So your Ford Ranger becomes a standard F-150. But then your F-150, when you get into an F-250, if you get the F-350, it becomes a Super Duty.
I've got an F-250 Super Duty. That was the 99.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't even know if you can get a Super Duty 250 anymore.
I think you shouldn't be able to call anything a Super Duty unless it has a diesel in it.
Well, mine's got a V10. To be fair, it'll outrun the diesel.
I will go with the V10 Triton platform. No doubt about it. That's the 6.8, right?
Yeah. And
Is that the 20 valve or the 30 valve?
It's a 20, but
which is better than the 30.
I've run past... I've passed guys in Colorado pulling an RV going up mountains, and the guy with the diesel, like the Ford and the GMC Sierra diesels, and I'm
having a little problem.
Yeah, they're pulling their Airstream, which was lighter than my Winnebago.
Okay,
and I was rolling right past them going up the hill.
Folks, you're hearing it here first, man. This.
But those are the newer diesel. I'm not saying they weren't competent. It just they were just working a little bit.
Look, there's a reason why Ford brought back a pushrod motor.
Yeah.
Gas.
So, but now they don't even do the V10 anymore. I think you can get it at special order, but
that 7.3 Godzilla's been good to them.
So, okay. So let me see if I can, do we want to just try to play this? I mean, what could possibly go wrong here? Right?
Is there anything to play there? I don't know.
Was
there a video?
I'm looking at their commercial. It's just a rolling commercial.
Yeah.
I thought I saw. Yeah. No. It's just photos.
It's just photos, man. Yeah.
So
they're just teasing the market, and if you notice, it's right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So
Because those Europeans are going to want a Super Duty, right?
It could be Australia too, right?
Okay.
All right, crikey, mate. There's a Super Duty.
And then Ozzy comes out of the woodwork going, "Oi, I'm the Prince of Darkness.
Buy one.
All
right.
I love it, man. Highway to hell kind of shit right here. Oh, sorry. Did I slip up again? Can you beep that out? Oh, that reminds
20 seconds too late.
It reminds me of the movie Blues Brothers when the nun is whacking them on the hand.
Right.
They keep dropping the.
What's your it's
anyway
YouTube. It's fine. It's
but my dad listens to this stuff. Man.
Your dad's heard this.
He has. He's heard that before. Forgive me, Dad.
So I think it's gonna sell. Let me say it like this: it would normally sell.
Mm-hmm.
They may have themselves with this whole tariff thing, because a year ago this would sell,
right?
But right now, with the price of everything potentially going up, it may not.
I think some things are going to get killed if this doesn't.
Just like the FJ Cruiser.
Yeah.
The economy killed it. Everybody stopped buying them because of the horrible gas mileage, which I could give zero shits about.
You buy a purpose-built vehicle, why do you care about the mileage of gas? I mean, it's not a commuter, man.
Right.
So what do? You buy an FJ and a Pinto.
Right. Yeah, or an EV or whatever. I just, that's not why I got it. I got it to take it off the pavement. Crazy. And so
craziness, man.
That may keep it from even going into production.
Right.
Is kind of a prediction that I'll throw out there.
But you know what, man? They're just, we've gotten to the point to where they make stuff just because we know we'll buy it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they don't get me started on the whole Apple Air Max Pro Light Extreme.
Well, here, let me dumb it down for you a little bit. Pet rock.
Yeah.
I mean, we bought rocks and we called it a pet. Mood rings, man.
Yeah. Well, those actually worked. I mean, they didn't actually predict your mood, but they did change colors.
They did change colors. They didn't predict moods, but I mean,
yeah.
I just say the 8 ball that you shake up and
that has value. What do you got against magic 8 balls? I mean,
it never told me anything true.
Just
saying.
That's the fun of it, though, right?
Okay, all right.
I had a Magic 8-Ball sound drop on here.
Did you really?
You know, like 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use that one day. And sure enough, 5 years later, Jay makes an 8-Ball reference, and I can't find it. You know.
Well, at this moment, Keith, what I would like is for a public service announcement from Boomhauer telling us about the internet.
Let's see.
Tell you what you do, you just take them dang old spark plugs.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Little hole, you just put a little hole around there, just like Bobby intercepts. It's like it go boom, boom, just like that.
What you wanted was this one.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there and talk about www.com, you got them naked chicks on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
I love it.
Miss that guy.
It doesn't get old.
Yeah.
Supposedly King of the Hill's coming back too. We've been talking about that for 3 years. So
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see if it makes it out. So look, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's it. We've wrapped this up. We've gone through it. We've talked a lot about a lot of things. There is no shortage of automotive news, and which actually spawns pop culture news. And Keith and I have been happy to bring you what we know up to this point. Some things, obviously, we can't bring you everything, but those are some highlights of our days.
Are you doing the wrap up?
No, you are. I'm just going to say thanks, everybody, for listening. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe.
Well, that's what I meant. You're doing that.
I'm doing that. Check us out over at partscountergurus.com, where you'll find every link to click on, just like Boomhauer said. Oh, man, think about that dang old man internet. Click, 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 click. Naked chicks and stuff, man. Boom. Anyway,
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
There you go.
I love it. But when will I know it's time?
I'll tell you.
Okay. All right.
You won't. Sorry, you won't.
You won't.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you. That's right. Another great movie, by the way. Roadhouse never gets old. Anyway, bottom line, thank you guys so much for listening, watching. Please tell friends, subscribe. Again, this is free to you, but it means so much to us. It helps Keith and I keep this going. We love bringing you what we bring you. We could not be doing it without your support. We really appreciate it, and that goes a long way. We've been doing this since 2018.
Yeah.
And we're at episode 170 that you're listening to.
Well, we were.
Right now.
It's over now.
Right now, we're going to, we got a 200th coming up.
Yeah.
So that'll happen.
I did the math on that. I don't think it'll be this year. I could be wrong.
We would have to get back to when we were doing these things like 2-3 times a month.
Yeah.
Because there was at one point.
Yeah, we're doing about 2 a month now. It's see, this is now, you guys thought we were done. 2 more minutes, everybody. Bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Bi-weekly can mean multiple times a week, like twice a week, or it can mean every 2 weeks.
Right.
You guys, somebody go figure that one out.
Yeah. Does it, whatever, man. Yeah. We'll be omnidirectional for you. Yeah, so we'll go in whichever way we can for you. Anyway, but again, thank you so much. Keith, as always, has some wise words to end us, end the show for us.
I have literally nothing to add except, there's a lot of talk in Nashville about renaming the airport.
Oh, I would be down with that.
And they want to. They want to put Dolly's name on it.
I would love that.
I'm a huge Dolly fan.
You think they would have 2 big towers?
Departin' from Parton.
Departin' from Parton. I love it, man. That's a great marketing. I love it.
So I just feel like we all need to be a little bit more like Dolly. Yeah, I've said that before. She's so great. Lost her husband not too long ago.
Yep. Sorry.
Dolly said, "Find out who you are and do it on purpose." From my pal Dr. Dre over there, I'm Snoop Dogg. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.